The Carpet is the 14th episode of the second season of The Office. This is directed by Victor Nelli Jr. And as always, there will be spoilers from now as I talk about the episode and share some thoughts. And to sum up, first of all, it was fine. There was one moment that I quite liked. I don't think there's anything else that I would consider to be a personal highlight. The main narrative I didn't really care for, and we didn't really get proper progression with Jim and Pam. I say that not knowing what happens with their relationship, but every episode we seem to be stepping closer and closer to something. And I'm now at the stage where I wish they'd maybe push the pedal a little bit and get us a little bit closer. I'll talk about that in a moment. There are two parts to the narrative. I will discuss them in turn. But to be honest, I don't have a tremendous amount of thoughts because I didn't love it. I didn't dislike it. There wasn't anything in it that I thought was badly done. But the whole vomit on the carpet thing, I really didn't. I could have done without that. It did make me feel a little bit sick. And basically somebody's vomited on Michael's carpet, and there's a mystery of who is it and why did they do it, and that part of it I just found to be really boring. And I know I said spoilers, but I won't give away exactly who did it or what that was about, but I found it to just be a little bit dull. I didn't really care for it, and it made me feel a little bit queasy, so definitely not my favourite part. But it did give us a glimpse of what Michael the employee might have been like. I know he's an employee for Dunder Mifflin in general, but obviously he's the boss of the office, and it gave us an indication of what it might be like if Michael worked not in his office, but in the main office with everybody else. And basically it was him carrying on with Dwight, and he didn't bug people as much as I expected. I kind of expected him, now that he had to, well, he said he was desk sharing with Jim, but Jim decided to just move elsewhere. I kind of expected Michael to get distracted easily and distract other people. And there was a little bit of that, but I thought they would have lent more into that. And we got to see Michael and Dwight, I guess, working on the same level because they're in the same environment. And it was just a little look at what things could be like if Michael was on the same level as everybody else. So it was a bit interesting, but I still wouldn't say I found it particularly fascinating. The other part focuses on Jim. And again, I wish the pacing of this part of the story in general was a little bit quicker, because Pam has been on vacation with Roy, of course, and she's just come back, and there's this really, really emotional moment. Actually, I didn't cry, but it was a little upsetting when it's lunchtime and Jim's carrying his little brown paper bag with his little packed lunch in it, and then he sees Pam enjoying lunch with Roy, and he decides to just go and eat his lunch elsewhere. And it was so sad. And then at the end of the episode, we find out that before that, Jim phoned Brenda up. He got her number from the corporate directory, which seems a little bit of a bad use of the corporate directory. But he phoned her up to ask her out. And then Pam has left a load of messages on Jim's phone. Very funny, very well written messages. They're very entertaining. I quite like those. And as Jim walks to his car at the end of the day, the voiceover or the messages play as a voiceover over the episode. And I thought that was quite a nice way to end things. It also helped to show that while Jim is kind of feeling shunted, because obviously Pam's looking forward to the wedding, she's having lunch with Roy, he definitely feels like he's being forced to take a step back from his friendship with Pam. Those voiceover messages help to show that Pam doesn't feel that way. And I think that that's really interesting. It would also be really awkward if Pam suddenly decided she didn't care about Jim just because she now believed her relationship with Roy was going somewhere, which I don't believe, but I've been very good in avoiding spoilers at all costs, but I really hope that I don't need to worry about that for much longer and that we actually get some progress with their relationship or lack thereof. So I guess the highlights from this episode for me would be, I guess, the voiceover messages. I thought they were really sweet. I really liked those. And I don't want to say the moment where Jim took his little brown paper bag and went to eat elsewhere was a highlight in terms of being entertaining, but I'd say, although brief, is one of the most powerful moments in the episode. So it's not amazing. I don't think that The Carpet is the strongest episode of The Office, but that being said, I certainly didn't mind it. And there were a couple of good moments as well. So all things considered, it's okay.